There's nothing that'll scare you more when you're sitting in a stand in the middle of the night.
I know what you did. Get this thing out of the house. He's like, there's a mink in our kitchen. Get it out of the house.
Not to sound cocky, but I guarantee you I'm going to kill more fox than that person that's not hunting for it.
All right, guys, we're back here with another episode of the Clucking Around podcast, episode 4 already. This is Mike here, and who do I got around the table with me?
Mate.
You got Brian, and today we have my buddy Ty Bogus with us today.
We are going to talk a little bit of fox hunting, correct?
Yep, fox hunting and predator hunting.
We obviously are big turkey hunters, and it's always predator control is always a hot topic with the turkey world, and so we're gonna dive into a little bit of fox hunting and probably get into some turkey population stuff and see what happens. A little bit of everything. What's everyone been up to this week?
Just a little bit of rifle hunting.
Yeah, you guys had a couple deer on the ground up at camp, didn't you?
Yep, killed 2 more bucks there on Saturday on the last day up in the mountains, and took two new guys up there that have never hunted the mountains like that, and I think they were pretty excited to go up there and just it's very rewarding whenever you kill one up there.
Oh yeah, a lot of mountain up there.
Yep.
Rifle hunting and building turkey calls.
A whole lot of walking and didn't see any deer.
I feel like you're probably not the only one with that. Well, let's just dive right into it. We got, like Brian said, good friend Ty here, and he is I'm hearing local legend when it comes to fox hunting, or
I wouldn't go legend, but I'll take it.
I'll be honest. I was thinking of coming in here some 75-year-old guy that's just got years and years of experience. But how old are you?
I'm 34.
All right, so I'm not the. I'm never the oldest guy. I'm used to always being the oldest guy.
Yeah, Brian's pretty old.
I forgot about that. But just give us a little intro about yourself and what kind of got you into chasing fox and stuff.
I've been hunting fox since I've been probably about 12, 13 years. So I've been doing it a long time. I kind of got interest in it with our family had a fur farm in Carrolltown. So fur has always been an interest of mine. Always like putting them up, finished product, seeing what all your hard work goes into.
Yeah, your family did fox and mink, you
Yes,
said?
we did fox and mink both. It was mostly mink, though. We did some fox, but on our good years, we had probably 15,000 mink, I think, was what we raised.
Yeah.
So,
and that was primarily being sold overseas?
Yes, for the fur overseas. I mean, you had the Russian and Chinese buyers were your main buyers.
Yeah. Yeah, we might as well touch on the fur market a little bit now, since we're on it already. That's always a controversial topic with anyone that hunts or traps. It's kind of taking a dive in the wrong direction.
It's really taking a dive. I mean, 10 years ago, I was getting $20, $30 for a fox.
Yeah.
Even more. Last year, I sold a bunch to fur harvesters at their auction, and I think I averaged like $12 for a fox.
Yeah.
So it dropped out tremendously.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not something you do for money.
No, and I mean the fox can be worth $5. I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah.
I love doing it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, a lot of people say that like it's not even worth it, but I mean if you total up the amount of stuff we spend on deer and turkey hunting, then it's not a profitable business either for us. So.
You look at the gas you spend all the time. I mean,
yeah.
On a good week, I'm filling up twice at Sheets.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We haven't even touched on waterfowling. That's a money pit in itself.
Yeah.
Is your the mink and the fox business, is that still active?
They're not. Our family doesn't do it anymore.
Okay.
But there are still some. I think there might be 2 farmers in PA right now left.
Okay.
It's died off with the market.
Right.
It shot a lot of people
I was
away.
gonna say, like, if that was still, if your guys' mink farm was still active today, could it be active today?
Yeah.
I guess.
Absolutely, it could be active today. I mean,
Okay.
we had an unfortunate circumstance happen, and we just had to shut the doors on it. So,
Okay.
but
I used to work on the neighboring mink farm.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd see Ty and those guys over there always having a blast, and the side aisle it was on wasn't as much fun.
Not as friendly. Not as friendly.
Not as friendly.
Okay,
I
so
like because the farms they touched each other, you know.
Right.
So I remember like going down the center aisle and I'd see Ty or his dad, and your dad was always so nice. He'd sit there and talk to me, and I'd like be looking over my shoulder to make sure nobody was watching me.
so
Sounds like you were on the wrong side of the fence then.
I was.
Yeah.
Wish I could have got in with you guys.
did any of the mink ever get out?
Oh yeah, we always had them get out.
Okay, so I grew up in Carrolltown,
Mhm.
and not very far from the mink farm, a couple miles. Like I was close to the elementary school,
Mhm.
and the one time I was up at my friend's house, I was probably 14, 15 years old at the time, and he lived up the street from me, and I was up at his house, and my stepdad calls me, and he's like, "Nate, get this thing out of the house." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "I know what you did. Get this thing out of the house." And I'm like, I seriously don't know what you're talking about. He's like, "There's a mink in our kitchen. Get it out of the house." He's like, "I know you brought it down here and you put it in the house and you're pranking me." I'm like, "I swear." Like,
Why would I do that?
yeah, I did not do that.
Yeah, that's a mean animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's this mink in the house. So there was a guy that worked for the game commission. He was like up. He lived like a couple houses up. So my stepdad called him and was like, "Hey, there's a mink in our house. Can you come get it out?" You know. He's like, "Yeah, I'll be down." Well, he came down, and I guess I don't know a lot about mink, but they release like something that smells terrible.
Yeah, they're
So he netted it in our hallway, and it sprayed
sprayed.
in our house, and it was not good. And it took a lot of
It's a smell you can't get rid of.
yeah, put it that way. And I like he seriously thought that I did that, and I was like, "I swear I did not do that."
Well, Ty, let's backtrack here a little bit. What got you into predator hunting? I mean, obviously you're a big deer hunter, turkey hunter,
Yeah.
sort of just the outdoor lifestyle. But what got you into predator hunting specifically?
Tell you what, when I was young, Randy Anderson, I was watching him on TV. He's a big coyote hunter.
Yep.
And he's actually the one that caught my interest into predator hunting.
Okay.
I mean, I still watch his videos. I think he's still the OG of predator hunting pretty much.
Yep.
I mean, you got a lot of guys from Foxborough and that, but I think Randy Anderson still kills it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I remember watching a few of those, and Tad Brown,
Yeah.
the jury team,
Yeah.
watching some of those when I was younger.
And then my uncle actually, I got into it I started doing it myself after watching him. Never had much luck. I went 3-4 years, I didn't kill a fox. I went out
Really?
countless nights, didn't kill anything. My uncle was big into it. He took me out and he showed me some stuff, and after I started figuring it out and he showed me some tricks, I just started learning from my own mistakes and, grew from that.
So were you just the traditional red light guy, or are you using thermals? That's sort of a new hot item now. So
I'm all red light.
okay.
I know a lot of guys are into thermal, but I'm strictly red light. Mainly,
Okay.
probably one of the reasons is because the expense of
Oh, yeah.
thermals.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking a couple $1,000s to get a good setup.
Yeah. Yeah, I've hunted both ways, and recently went a few times with some friends that use thermals, and it's definitely an advantage, I would say, but not everybody has.
There's advantages
$5,000 laying
to
around.
thermal versus red light.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the disadvantages, I don't personally run, like I said, thermal,
Okay.
but I know some guys that do. With thermal, you don't have a light to hide behind. With a red
Yeah,
light,
okay.
I have halo shields on my
Yeah.
light to cast the light out in front of me, keep
Yep.
away from me.
Yeah.
So you're able to hide behind that red light when you're calling.
Okay.
So all your movement's kind of concealed.
Okay.
Thermal, you got no light, kind of like
Yeah,
a barrier
you're
in
just
front of you.
kinda
Yeah,
there.
you're out in the
Yep.
open. So
So you'd have
you're
to pay more attention to.
you're more vulnerable
cover.
to get picked up by coyotes and that when you're moving around.
I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I said, light management's a big thing when running red lights.
Okay. I gotcha. Your primary red lights, I know I've seen guys use green,
Yeah.
use
I-
yellow lights.
I've never gotten into them.
Okay.
I've hunted Texas before at nighttime. A lot of guys use white lights there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there's an advantage to it. I mean, you can see the animal a lot better.
Yeah.
But like I said, around here, I've only ever used red lights.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a YouTube show that I see a lot that uses just white lights.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's more for filming or.
Yeah, I would say Predator Pursuits. I know he uses a lot of white
Yeah.
lights when he's
Okay.
filming and that.
I gotcha. So, what's your opinion on what the fox or the coyote or whatever you may be targeting at night? What are they seeing versus not seeing when you got the light on them? I've heard different opinions from people, but I'm just curious what everybody thinks.
I'm really not sure what they're seeing. I know different people said red light. Something with their eyes. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
So,
Nobody here's a scientist.
Yeah,
Let's
I just
clear that up at least.
my one buddy, he's big into Kirk McKendry. He's big into it.
Okay, yeah.
He's went off. He does all that stuff. He's a mad scientist when
Yeah.
it comes to predator
I
hunting.
have a story of how I met him whenever we're done.
I would say I think just about everyone in PA, if they're even other states, if they're a predator hunter, they know him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a diehard predator hunter too, and
Yeah.
he's a true killer.
He was a cop at one point,
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah.
I was at Dick's Sporting Goods down in Altoona, and I think I had a predator, some kind of predator hunting sticker on my truck. And he pulled up in behind me in the middle of the parking lot, and I don't think he flicked his lights on, but I just see a cop getting out and walking up to my door. I'm parked. What could I be doing wrong here? He knocks on the window and says, "You a predator hunter?" And I was like, "What?" It took me a minute. But,
He's a big guy to walk up to your window too.
Yeah,
He's not a small guy.
I'm from Altoona, so
Yeah.
we're down the same area, and he usually stops by the trade shows and BS's with you a little bit. And
Yeah, I mean,
he's definitely a killer.
He definitely gave me a lot of tips along the way too. I mean, we spent countless hours. We're out hunting at nighttime. The conditions aren't right, or we're waiting for a break in the weather. We'll call each other on the phone and we'll just BS, and it's usually about predator hunting.
Yeah.
And we can usually never get off the phone with each other to go out and make the next stand.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna move into more like tips and tricks and like what your setups are. Maybe we'll start with that. What you're primarily targeting fox. We already kind of went over that. What's your gun setup like for that? Are you using rifle, shotgun?
So I use both.
Okay.
I have shotgun. I have a 12 gauge Mossberg. I run heavy shot.
Okay.
I like running heavy shot. I've shot fox out 60 yards, a little bit farther, and it's dropped them dead.
Okay.
And I also have a 17 WSM.
Gotcha.
For when I'm hunting in woods and that, I usually all shotgun.
Yeah.
And I do hunt some fields with shotguns, but when I switch over to fields, it's usually the 17.
Yeah. Now, are you taking both with you, or just setup specific?
My buddy Tyler, he hunts with me, and he runs straight rifle. So he has that covered.
Yeah.
But I don't carry both. That's just too much weight going
Yeah.
in and out. So.
Yeah. I know that's one disadvantage of the thermals we've talked about a lot, was spots we thought we needed a shotgun.
Yeah.
But obviously with a thermal, you don't actually
And that's,
don't have a way to set that up.
Yeah, I could come back to that, thermal. I like, when I run shotgun, especially for gray fox, the thickest, nastiest stuff you can get into. Gray fox love that stuff.
Yeah. The grays would be where I hear about shotgunning the most.
Yeah. I mean, I've had them run over my legs, run into my back in the middle of the night. It wakes you up. I tell you that much.
They're pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Probably the most aggressive of the
Yeah.
three, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they ran to my back and they run out in front of me 10 yards and they turn around and start barking.
Yeah.
And that was their mistake of turning around. I can tell you that much.
Have you ever had a bear at night?
Yes, actually, about 6 years ago, it was Christmas Day. And we had a warm Christmas that year. I was out calling, and I caught 3 sets of eyes coming down through a swamp bottom up to me. And I thought it was 3 fox coming. I could tell they were moving a little slow. And I lost the eyes. About 2 minutes later, I had a spoil pile in front of me. 30 yards in front of me, here comes a mom and 2 cubs. Up over. Stopped on the tram road. I said, they might have been able to hear my heart over the call playing.
I think I would have just fired one into the air and make them run.
I turned the call off immediately. They kind of lost interest. They went their way. I backed out. I didn't turn my back on them. I kept facing them the whole time I was backing up.
I was thinking about that night we went out. Like, wonder what happened if a bear came in on this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's always in the back of my head. Like I said, I only ever done it once, but I don't want to do it again.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear much about bear encounters with predator hunting.
No.
I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to that, but
Back to
most
your
would think that it would happen. But
I say playing distress in that in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
you would think
yeah,
curious bear.
I was going to ask you back to your setup again with the gun. Are you running the red light right on your gun?
So I actually have 2 red lights I run. I have
Okay.
a headlamp that I run all the time. It's on continuously the whole stand. I'm
Even
scanning
when you're
back.
walking into the woods, you have it
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, because when I've just actually 2 weeks ago, for instance, we were walking into a stand to sit up. I caught eyes about 50 yards down the field. Sat down, lip squeaked. It was actually a coon. So once I realized it was a raccoon, kept on scanning. I saw it caught another set of eyes, and it was a gray fox. So I just continued to lip squeak, and I called that fox in without even turning on the call or running the mouth call, and I killed it.
Yeah.
And that's why you always scan when you're walking in, because you
Okay.
never know what you're going to see.
Yeah.
You're always, how many times I've caught a fox out in the field just mousing around.
Yep.
Before you even start calling. So I have the headlamp, and then on my shotgun I actually have a small red light on my shotgun.
Okay.
So when I see a fox coming in, it gets in within range, I'm ready to shoot, I click that red light on, and then it lights up the whole fox, and I shoot right away.
Okay.
And then same with my 17. I have a shooting system. Actually, Kirk made his night shooting system. I have a red light. It's a bigger red light on it. I scan with my headlamp. As soon as I see a fox, I'm ready to shoot. I turn on that red light. It's a bigger, brighter red light because I'm shooting farther.
Mhm.
And I have 2 lights I run.
Do you keep your headlamp on the entire time
Yes.
while you're
Yeah.
shooting too? You
Yeah.
never turn it off?
Yeah, I
just-
never turn it off
Okay.
because, like I said, usually when I go to click on my shooting light is right when I'm ready to pull the trigger.
Gotcha.
So
what about when you do have a fox or coyote or anything come in? I've heard different theories on. Do you keep your light on the animal or in the eyes, or I've heard different guys say that they keep it just off
Yeah.
a little bit, or
yeah, because I've learned over the years that you can actually, I don't know if you burn their eyes.
Yeah.
But the intensity of a red light, especially when they get close,
Mhm.
it kind of spooks them.
okay,
So when I'm running my headlamp, there's almost like a halo
okay,
on it.
yeah,
And you keep that outer edge of that red
Yeah.
light just so their eyes illuminate. You don't have to see the fox
No,
or coyote.
just to know where they're
just to know where they're at.
at.
Because,
Okay,
like I said, if you put that center beam right on them,
Yeah.
they just seem like they get a little spooky and skittish.
yeah,
So
okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I've heard different theories on that, but
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Not
it's-
almost like blinding them.
yeah,
you
you
know.
gotta kind of train the fox to the light almost.
Yeah. You guys have any other questions on the setup and stuff, or the gun setup and stuff? We'll move into setups in the field and whatnot.
Yeah.
You kind of touched a little bit on it, but
I'm really enjoying this because I'm sitting here feeling like I'm learning so much.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty new to it,
Yeah.
So, the reason we've actually got into the predator hunting is because of you, Ty. I reached out to you last year and I said, hey, I'm thinking about, me and Nate were thinking about starting to do a predator call with the mouth call, and we
Yeah.
reached out to Ty and, we're like, do you run these? And you're like, nah, not really, but I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And,
I think when you first came out with the business, I got a hold of you and asked if you were going to make any mouth calls. And that
You're
was
right, you
when you
did.
first came out.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm just going to do turkey calls. And I was kind of like, all right. And then, like you said, you reached out to me last year.
Yeah.
And it was towards the end of our fox season. And you asked me about it. And I was all for it. Like you said, I don't really run diaphragm calls. This is all new to me.
mm-hmm.
But I tell you, the results have been tremendous with them.
Yeah, I was
It's,
very impressed with what you told me.
yeah, especially late season when I started. A lot of the fox have been called, so they've heard everything. And I went in with this, like I said, when conditions are tough and fox are educated, and this call is produced for me. The diaphragm.
So do you think it's just because it's a different sound compared to
I think
the
that's
same sounds of like the electronic calls?
yeah, absolutely. I really think you get to different pitch, just different frequencies and that. Like
Yeah.
you said, it's all around different sounds.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's awesome.
That's kind of what I was thinking for the last few years of, it seems like people popping up everywhere in my area, and everybody can go to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy a $200 Fox Pro and, get all the sounds on it. And they're good sounds.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Killed a lot of animals, but
I
you got to
say
wonder at what point the animals hear, everything.
Yeah, and that's like you said. They're not dumb. They get educated to the sounds, especially if you call one in and you miss it, or you just plain don't get a shot. They know that sound. So
I think
it's almost good.
I think what's so cool about it too is like one thing we've learned with mouth calls is that everybody sounds different. Like we could all four of us, we could have the exact same call made the exact same way, and it's gonna run good, but the way we blow it is gonna change the tone a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're never really gonna have
the same
thing, and it's like that's just really cool to me. You know what I mean? Because like you said, if they get, if the animals are getting burnt out because they're hearing the same Fox Pro sounds over and over and over again, then everybody can go out and have a chance at killing them.
and we don't want to take anything away from the Fox Pro.
Oh, no.
Oh no,
absolutely. We're not saying.
Yeah.
We spoke before you came in, and you said probably 60% of this year's kills have been off electronic, and then 40% have been off the mouth call.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you're able to use both of them.
Yeah, and like I told you before, I was testing the waters again with the mouth call, but I was trying to save that for later in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, after all these fox and coyotes have heard Nutty Nuthatch, Ranting Redbird off the Fox Pro, because they're going to sound the same off my call versus someone else's call. So I like to run that later season.
The Do-It-All Predator Call.
We designed this all-in-one mouth call for predator hunters. Get yours today at KlukCustomCalls.com.
I was thinking the same thing about, if your setup is good and, you turn on that baby cottontail or whatever it may be from Fox Pro and you kill the fox on the first time, then obviously you don't have to worry about them, getting educated. But I think it's a little different than maybe like your typical deer hunt or turkey hunt where you're hunting a 50-acre farm or a 100-acre farm for fox or whatever, for deer or turkeys. You're really not affecting the neighbor's property by being in there hunting, but I feel like you would be affecting a lot bigger area with fox calling, correct?
Yeah, and there are places where I'll drive a mile or two down the road, and I'll pull off and I'll call.
Okay.
Like, even though that call is going that far, I've learned over the years that fox kind of have a boundary.
Okay.
It seems like almost. I don't know if they actually do, but to me it seems like they do. So I'll drive, like I said, a mile down the road.
Okay.
And I'll pull off and call, and I can kill something a mile down the road after I just killed something before.
All right.
So
let's
wait.
dive.
Hold on. I remember my.
Everybody stop.
my
Brian remembered.
Yeah. No.
He is getting old.
I swear, since I had COVID, my memory's shot. But no. So I was going to ask you, what was the learning curve on that mouth call? Because we've had quite a few people reach out to us, and we are working on like a new tutorial video on our new predator call we have, and just a lot of guys they want to see how to use them and stuff like that, but it's something you have to put a lot of practice into, correct?
Yeah. I don't think you can get tips off a tutorial video, but until you put that call in your mouth, that's how you're going to learn it, and that's how you're going to learn how to produce the sounds off it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've driven in my truck to work in the morning, coming home from work, I'm blasting that call. Even though I already have it down, I'm always practicing on it.
What sound are you using most often?
Oh, the rabbit.
The
rabbit.
With the new call?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a killer sound.
Yeah.
To me, I just have an ear for that stuff, I guess, and it's a killer sound to me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Should be no different than the turkeys, just practicing,
Oh yeah, I mean it's tons of practice, and we can't emphasize enough, calling from your diaphragm, that hot air across the call, not blowing air from
you told me that, kind of get it from your diaphragm. Once I got that down, like I said, it's practice. Once you get down, you have to use your diaphragm.
Yeah.
I think you're golden.
Oh, it was that easy, huh?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it. We'll put it that
I
way.
figured out that to make the predator sounds, I just put my turkey call in and try to make a turkey sound. Sounds like a dying rabbit. I'm good to go.
I mean, I get a lot of weird looks from people at red lights. I will say that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm always calling with my hand by my mouth, or my hand by my ear, like an idiot, and people, I pull up to a red light and somebody just sees me like this. They're like, what's that guy doing?
I'm driving down the road and I'm doing the same thing with my hand, and they're probably thinking, what the hell is he doing?
I just did that the whole way here. I was calling turkey the whole way here tonight.
Let's go back into your setups. Like, what would your ideal setups be? Like more like fields, or I guess, are you targeting more red fox or gray fox or a mix? Or?
It seems like our area is mostly prominent to gray fox.
Okay.
I mean, we do get into the reds, obviously, some, but it's mostly gray fox we have.
Okay.
And I would say my stands, when I started out, were all woods.
Mm-hmm.
I did strictly all woods. Now, I'm going to say it's probably 50-50 right now with woods and field. Woods and field, I'm sorry.
I gotcha.
I don't know what one I prefer more. I kind of like the woods a lot more just because it's up close and personal with those, and I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Is there like, were you ever like on the boundary, like the field in the woods, right on the edge of it?
Yeah,
like that. Setups.
I never sit up right in the middle of a field.
Okay.
It's against everything I do. I always try to sit up if I'm hunting a field and there's a finger of trees or like a brush pile, I get my back to that.
Okay.
Because even though you have that light as your camouflage, you still have your silhouette.
Just breaks up your outline.
Yeah, it breaks up your outline. That's your. Okay. I see guys standing in the middle of the field all the time. I mean, it does work. I mean, you got guys out Lancaster way, they kill a pile of them.
Yeah.
And they stand in the middle of the field. Nothing against it, but it's just not something I do.
Yeah.
I always want my silhouette broken up.
Gotcha.
I would think if you're shooting them with a rifle, maybe you can get away with.
Yeah.
If you're shooting them 200 yards.
Yeah, you can get them out
maybe.
farther. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you notice if they, like a gray fox, will it break across an open field?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it liked to hug the cover and come in, or if it would just bust straight through an open field.
Oh, yeah, no, gray fox, they'll bust across the open field. I was just telling Brian before we started, my calling partner, I shouldn't mention his name, but he missed 2 fox coming across the open field 3 different times. I mean, they broke right across the open field, and he flat out missed them. But gray fox are bold, and they don't care what they're coming into. They're coming in to kill, pretty much.
Pretty much anyone you talk to, I think that's the theme. Grays are super aggressive.
Reds, the reds are a little more sneaky. I've had reds break the field, come running into your call, but not like grays. I mean, like I said, grays, like I told you, they run into my back, run over your legs. They're just bold and crazy.
Yeah.
Is there a tendency where you see, more grays in the woods or more reds in the woods, or vice versa, or field?
No, I wouldn't say. Like I said, I think it kind of depends on the terrain and like what the woods in that has to offer. Because like I said, our area is mostly gray fox.
Okay.
And like I said, you get out like Somerset, Bedford way, where it's all farm fields, you're gonna get into a lot more grays. Not grays. I'm sorry, reds.
Okay.
I don't know why that is, but it just seems like when you get into all farm fields, it's reds.
I've noticed that just running trail cameras.
Yeah.
Seems to be like food plot edges are more likely to get reds than the grays.
Yeah. Like I said, the grays just they like the thick, dense stuff. They can get away from coyotes easier with that thick stuff.
Yeah. We always end up catching a few grays on accident, just targeting bobcats.
Mm-hmm.
In the brushy quarry walls and stuff that we're trapping in my area. But wind direction. Some people say it doesn't matter. Some people say it does matter. What's your theory on the wind?
I tell you what, someone that says wind doesn't matter when it comes to hunting predators, I will go out and I'll have a hunting contest with them, and I'm going to hunt the wind, and they're not going to hunt the wind.
Okay.
I can, not to sound cocky, but I guarantee you I'm going to kill more fox than that person that's not hunting the wind.
I mean, I would say cocky. I would say confident, judging by this hanger full of fur right here beside us.
It's very important. Wind always has to be in my face.
Okay.
It's how I sit up. Like I was telling Brian before, anything over 10 miles an hour with wind, I won't hunt.
Okay.
Especially early season. Once we get down to like the last month of season, I'll hunt over 10.
Yeah.
But I try 10's usually my limit early season,
Okay.
the whole way through mid-season.
What's your reason for that?
Just you get the higher wind gust, it's gonna take your call. Like if I'm trying to call out in front of me, but the wind's blowing at my face, that's pushing the call back behind me.
Okay.
It's not broadcasting it like I like to.
Gotcha.
But then I try having the ideal wind speed to me would be like 5 to 7.
Okay.
Because with that wind speed, you have a constant wind direction.
Okay.
When you get down to like 1, 2, 3, 3 miles an hour, you get the switchy winds.
Yeah.
And I love hunting, low winds, but I drive by so many stands.
Okay.
I pull in, the wind will be blowing right one direction. We'll get out, we'll walk up to sit up, and it's blowing a completely different direction.
Okay.
So we back out.
Okay. I was gonna ask that. So you're backing out on
Yeah.
a stand if the wind isn't.
Yeah, if
isn't
it's not
perfect.
right. Like I said, if you get late in the season, last month, I'll hunt any wind.
Yeah.
I'll try and make and do, but early season, wind direction's really
Yeah.
important to me.
Okay. That makes sense. That's sort of the same with deer hunting. Like I don't know if I like no wind for deer hunting either. It seems like kind of wigs them out a little
If
bit.
it's cold enough, I like
Probably
it
the
because
same.
it's lifting straight up. Those cold, frosty morning, real cold.
Yeah.
Well, so here's a question to kind of piggyback off that. Like, so if you're looking for the absolute perfect setup, and I'd like to talk about like a wood setup and then a field setup. So if you're in the woods, like what is the absolutely perfect setup? Temperature, wind, you already touched on the wind speed, weather conditions, like you hunting high in the woods, like higher on the hillside or in the valleys, or does that matter?
I tell you what, it doesn't matter to me whether I'm down in a valley or high up. If I'm in the woods, I like to get near thick stuff, especially if I'm calling for gray fox. Like I will hunt open woods, but I like there to be a swamp bottom, something like that that's gonna hold those fox. Because you can go into an area and call, but if that terrain isn't holding that animal, you're just wasting your time.
So you don't like to be hunting areas where they're just passing through.
Yeah.
You want to be like in there bedding like a big buck.
Yeah. When I was out deer hunting these past, during rifle season, I said it's probably a good thing we didn't have snow because I spend more time looking at the ground when I'm deer hunting,
Yeah.
looking for fox, coyote, bobcat sign than I do actually deer. So I'm always trying to learn the terrain, making sure it's holding it and looking for constant sign from that animal that they're being held in that area, so to speak.
Okay. So that's like the wood setup. Now what about out in a field? Like same thing. Like does elevation play a part in how you're setting up or anything like that?
It does, terrain does play a big factor, I think. So to me that when I'm sitting up in a field, like if there's drainage ditches, stuff like that, I like to make sure that I have either me or my partners watching that drainage ditch because you will have fox come out and they'll run up that drainage ditch. They're taking the easiest way to get into that call. Even in the woods, like if you can sit up on a tram road, railroad bed, something like that, they're always going to, even though it's thick, they're going to pick the easiest way to get to that call.
Okay.
So, like I said, I like to have a higher elevation a little bit when I'm hunting in a field, just so I can see like over knobs and stuff like that. And like I said, it comes down to over years of experience of learning the terrain and watching how the fox react to the call. Because, since I started taking Tyler with me, I watched more fox come into the calls than I actually shoot.
Okay.
And you learn so much by watching that animal come into the call.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
When you hunt like the same stands, like say like, from one year to the next year, do the fox, like say you're setting up in the same spot, probably, correct?
Yeah.
A lot of times, like
Yeah.
if you had a kill in the previous year.
Yeah.
Do the fox tend to run the same exact route a lot of times?
Yeah, I've noticed that. Usually, because like I said, now when we go pulling the stand, we know exactly where we're going to set up. We know where we killed a fox from the previous year. Usually they're taking that same path. I don't know why, but it does seem like they take the same path every year.
So, it's no different than a turkey or a deer. We've seen that happen, and whatever it is, there's a reason why they do it. It's worst case, you keep it in your mind for educated guess, I guess. What about temperature? Do you have a preference on? I know our fox season opens the end of October in Pennsylvania here. So, do you have any preferences how they respond in temperatures?
I actually have a rather large log on my phone that I keep of every fox we kill.
Okay.
Not that I probably need to, but I like to look back on it. I keep when we kill it, what the moon phase is, what our temperature is, our wind.
Yeah.
And you learn from that. But I wouldn't say the fox I seem to tend respond slower when it's warmer out. They're not running as hard. But I kill them all, early season when it's warm. I kill them late season too, obviously, when it's cold. I have learned, though, that it seems like when the temperatures get down below, like, 10, the gray fox, a lot, they slow down on their response.
Okay.
I don't know why that is. But like I said, over, just from keeping all my data, I've learned, I've hunted -5 before.
Yeah.
Colder than that, actually, which was dumb. But I've killed, I've killed, but they respond slower, it seems.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
people,
you would think they would.
And red still respond normal.
yeah, like I said, I would say they respond normal, but I don't have, like I said, we have a lot of grays, so I can't say for sure off of, the data I have off of that. But yeah,
You would almost think that they would run in quicker because they're maybe hungrier because it's
Yeah.
colder, but you think it through it, they're trying to conserve energy too.
yeah.
So.
And that's another thing when the snow gets deep. We get fresh snow. I love hunting fresh snow because you can see what's in that area.
Yeah.
But it seems like the fox love running when we get fresh snow. But when you get snow up to your knees, a fox isn't running.
Yeah,
Or a fox isn't
got
running in that
6-inch
stuff.
legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until when we get that deep of snow, I won't even go out and hunt unless I can get up on ridges where it's blowing off and stuff like that. But if we can't get anything like that, I wait until we get a melt and we get a good crust on it.
Yeah.
And once we get a good crust on it, those fox are running like crazy again.
Okay. Moon phase. Why does everyone always laugh when anyone says moon when it comes to hunting? What's your theory on the moon? Do you prefer?
A lot of people hate hunting full moons.
Yeah.
But you got to know how to hunt the moon. That comes back to data. We've killed fox 100% moonlight. I have a moon tracker on my phone.
Yeah.
I always, just to see what it's like. We kill fox. I have no problem killing a new moon. New moon's the best moon, obviously, because it's pitch black out.
Okay.
Yeah, you got nothing. But full moon, we kill them on too. You just got to sit up different. You almost got to sit up like you're hunting daylight when you're hunting full moon. You can't go out and sit in the middle of a field, anything like that, obviously.
Yeah. That was another question. You mentioned the daylight. Have you ever hunted foxes in the daytime?
No, I have not. No, I'm
Okay.
strictly, I do all nighttime hunting, so
okay.
yeah.
I have some friends that hunt late season type stuff. They say that they can call them in during the day, and I don't know if I would assume that maybe if it's warmer, in late season, that would be just like a deer moving.
It seems like if
parts.
you're calling during the day, from what I've seen different people, they're usually calling in reds. It seems like they respond because gray fox all fox are nocturnal, but it seems like gray fox are more nocturnal than reds.
Okay.
You got to call reds in during the day more than grays.
Gotcha.
But it's possible.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I've seen more red fox driving in the daytime than I've never.
I was just gonna.
I don't
say
know
the
if I've
same
ever
thing.
seen a gray fox cross the road.
No.
I say
In
you're out,
daylight.
you're out deer hunting, sitting in a stand, and that usually you see a fox, it's going to be a red fox.
Yeah.
Right.
It's,
Right.
And I think the grays are more brushy terrain type
Yeah.
animals. That's probably why too. But
back to the moonlight. The key thing is always have the moon to your back.
okay.
That's the main thing, because it's like that moon's kind of blinding, almost like the fox when it's coming in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like I said, it's blinding the fox. You wouldn't think you would want it to your back, but that's how I always hunt it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like sunlight.
I was gonna say it's just like a gobbler coming
Yeah.
in. They don't
They-
like coming in straight into the sun.
Yep.
One question I had from some of my own experience, what little I do have, do you see any impact on rifle season, rifle deer hunting affecting your fox hunting? For instance, a friend and I tried to go out a couple nights ago, and actually the last day of our rifle season, so Saturday night we went out, and we were just speculating on whether all of the traffic in the woods. I mean, we have the biggest
Yeah.
army in the woods for 2 weeks. You would think that would have a little impact on it, but
Yeah.
do you have any theories on that?
I think with everyone's scent rolling around in the woods from walking around, I think that does put them on edge a little bit.
Yeah.
And also with all the gut piles that they have from the
That's
deer in
what
the
we were
woods.
talking
Yeah.
about.
They don't have to go out and look for something dying when they already have a gut pile that they can sit there and eat.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the first year we actually didn't hunt the 2 weeks of deer season,
Okay.
which it was tough for me to do, not to go out and hunt fox for 2
Yeah.
weeks. I was chomping at the bit, biting my fingernails, but this is the first time we haven't done it in a while. But
Yeah.
it does play an impact. I think, like I said, they respond slower if they do respond.
Yeah.
You know, it's-
Going off of your data, have you noticed like during those 2 weeks of the season, your numbers are down?
I tell you, last year we hunted the 2 weeks of deer, and it didn't slow us down at all.
Okay,
I mean, we pushed right through it, and we continued to kill right through deer season.
gotcha.
And I mean, last year, I think I'm not sure how many nights we were out, but I think we might have went maybe a total of 5 nights without seeing an eyeball. And that was all season.
Yeah,
And I mean, so far this season, we haven't been on a night where we haven't caught anything yet.
okay.
So we're batting 100% on call-ins for this year right now.
So that's what I really found intriguing about the predator hunting. You know, with turkey, you go out, you can kill 2 turkeys a year. You take your buddies out, but like, when you actually think about success rates, how many times do you go out hunting to how many kills you have?
Yeah.
Where fox hunting, it just sounds like,
Yeah.
It's a blast. Like, it's kind of the same concept. That they're coming in quietly.
Yeah.
Other than compared to a gobbling turkey. But you got a call in your mouth or your electronic call, and it's kind of the same concept as turkey hunting, except for they're coming in silent.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what really sparked my interest in it too. It's like you're calling to an animal, you're calling it in, and
There's nothing that'll scare you worse more when you're sitting in a stand in the middle of the night and you either have a pack of coyotes go off right behind you or you have a gray fox just start barking.
Yeah.
Because I've had them this year where they come in silent. Like I've heard the birds fluttering through the trees and that because it was a swamp bottom. And it came out. It presented itself real quick. I didn't get a shot. It went in the woods and it barked. I played with that fox for over an hour just to see if I can get him to come in. He would not commit because he already seen me. But he barked for an hour, and that's an eerie sound. Especially if you're not used to
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. Bobcats, so we'll do
Yeah.
that too.
yeah.
I just had something there and then I forgot it too. Pulling a Brian.
yeah, that's all the time. Well, going off of like your your fox hunting areas, as we're talking about fox and turkey, the areas you hunt fox and predators in, what do you notice with the turkey population?
As we spoke before, there was one area where the guy was a big turkey hunter. His turkey population went way down. He wasn't sure if it was raccoon, fox, what was killing his turkey, the eggs. He was finding broken eggs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he asked me to go in. This was back when I trapped. I went in, I ran a coon line for him.
Okay.
The first night, I think I pulled out, I think it was like 10 or 12 coon the first night. Through that whole week, I trapped 1 week in that bottom for him before deer season. I pulled out close to 30 raccoon. The following year, the next even couple years, his turkey population shot way up.
Yeah.
So hunting predators does play a big impact on if you're a big turkey hunter.
Mm-hmm.
It plays a big impact on that.
Yeah, and I think it's just us doing our part. We need to do it because there's less and less
Yeah.
trappers out there
Yeah.
because of fur prices.
I was say.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
Like we've done it a few times now. We're new to the game, but we're excited about it. And
Not many people want to do it. Like you said, the fur prices keep it down. Gas prices keep people out. And people just, I mean, even young kids, they don't want to get out and do this stuff anymore.
yeah,
I wouldn't be able to live without it. I mean, I live for this. It's
well, I think everybody here lives for hunting.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
in our
I
blood,
was just, it is. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what brought us here in the first place to start this podcast.
I think about that all the time. Like my brother, we grew up together. He might hunt 1 or 2 times a year, but he's into other stuff. And I often think someone like him, like there's more people like him than not that what do they look forward to? Like we're always like right now we're looking forward to late season or
Like I'm like
spring
thinking, like,
or
are we going predator hunting after this?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I can go home and get my stuff as long as the wind's down.
Yeah.
I actually have the shotgun in my truck. We can go.
We were going to ask you.
We can
We
go.
got permission right here.
We can go make a stand right here after.
Let's do it.
Guys, I'm wearing Crocs. All right.
Hey, I got a sweatshirt there. For you.
But yeah, I always
say we do
wonder,
it.
like, what do people at home look forward to right now if they're like non-hunters or fishermen? Like, so it's just what do they sit at home and think about?
Yeah.
Football,
Mhm,
football or something?
I mean, I'm at work on my lunch break. I'm on Onyx Maps,
Yeah.
looking just at the way the terrain. I mean, most of my spots I know how it's set up, but I have a bunch of new ground that I never got to look at, so I'm studying it on
Yeah.
my Onyx Maps when I'm at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the turkey thing. I've been sort of diving into some research on predators and turkeys and stuff. I think I have some ideas for some more in depth on that, but there's some interesting studies from Mississippi State on they transmitted turkeys and put cameras on nests and stuff, and we can get into that later a little bit, but
Bad hat trades.
just there was a lot of trail camera surveys and just basically pointing towards what predators are, causing issues with turkeys.
Yeah.
A lot of people, the cliff notes of it was everybody says raccoons
Mhm.
or nest raiders in general. And don't quote me on all these numbers, but I think it was something ridiculously high. Like out of all the nests that they studied, it was like 30 or 40% when a hen gets bumped off the nest, she doesn't come back to it, something like that. So obviously the coons and possums and everything are going to come in and raid those nests, but it was interesting to hear that stuff and compare that to what everybody says they
Same.
think.
Well, have you guys noticed lately, just driving around a 5-mile radius of my house here, anytime you're driving around anymore, there's dead raccoons everywhere. Have you guys noticed
No
it?
one's
Oh,
trapping
yeah.
or killing, out hunting them.
Yeah. And
That's
you wonder
why.
why the population's getting worse
Yeah.
around here. I mean,
And-
we're polluted with them right
Yeah.
now, and
People-
we got to start doing something about
Yeah.
it if we
Yep.
want to have a turkey
You
population
need
in
to
10
keep
years.
you need to keep everything in check with the population.
Yep.
And like you said, especially if you're big turkey hunters, raccoons, possums.
Mhm.
That's one thing. One animal a lot of people look over is the possum. They're
Yeah.
big nest raiders too.
Yep.
It's
We had one of my good turkey properties is right in the middle of 2 or 3 what I would say were as close to a full-time trapper as you could get, and just in the last like 5 years they just quit because they would target water and coons mainly, and you can definitely tell that they just don't do it anymore
Yeah.
because the just our trail cameras. I mean, everybody runs cameras. I don't go a couple days without getting a coon
I
or
say
a possum or
yeah,
a fox.
everyone
or-
has raccoons on their
Yeah.
trail camera now.
Yep.
It's,
and that, the prices of the fur definitely have an impact on
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, is it frowned upon in like the industry if we go out and you shoot, or say somebody goes out just basically for fun to shoot a red fox and just lets it lay? Is that frowned upon?
Well,
I
now we're
mean-
getting canceled already.
I'm just asking. I mean,
it is.
Yeah,
I
no.
mean, I don't stand for it.
Yeah.
I feel as
I
if
already told you, like, I'm bringing my
if
stuff
you're
to
gonna
you.
if you're gonna go out, take the time to shoot it, you should learn the proper way to put up your fox.
Yeah.
Even like I said, even though they're not worth much, you went out and you killed that animal.
Yep.
You should
Give it the respect.
give it the respect. Yeah, you should do like I do. Skin them, put them
Yeah.
up, sell them, tan them, whatever you want to do, but don't just throw them in a ditch.
Do you know guys that do that?
I do.
Yeah. That's why
And
I brought up the question.
Yeah, I don't respect that at all.
Yeah.
Like I get coyotes, you get them, they get mangy, they get
Mm-hmm.
rubbed up, especially late in the season. They are ugly, but every piece of fur, usually on coyotes, it's their back from their shoulders. And that. They might be ugly, but you can still get some money for that. They can still use that fur for something.
Yeah.
Respect that animal.
Yep.
That's my main thing. Like I said, I go out, I shoot raccoon. I might only get $2 for them, but I'm skinning them and I'm putting them up. I'm gonna send them to the market. I
Yeah.
have a couple raccoon hanging in my house that I tanned.
Yeah.
It's just I don't let anything lay. It's,
That's awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, that's a big no-no for me. That's
Are you tanning your own hides, or are you sending
yes.
them away?
No, we do tan our own stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we ran a little trap line this year. We were mainly targeting coyotes, and our areas actually, our fox populations seem to be lower. So we actually were letting fox go, red fox we were
Yeah.
letting go. But kind of the same thing you just touched on. We didn't really see the need to kill them. I mean,
Yeah.
our turkey population in that area seems to be pretty healthy. We weren't necessarily targeting them as predators for turkeys, but kind of got to the point like, you don't want to kill them if they're not worth anything. And that kind of that balance we were playing with.
And it's like our area, you were saying your fox population seems to be down. Our area over the past 2-3 years, it seems like our gray fox population has shot through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, we've been out every night so far this year that we could hunt, that's huntable, and we haven't had a blank stand.
Yeah.
Our gray fox population seems to have shot up over the past 2 to 3 years.
Do you just think it's lack of trappers?
I really think it is. I mean, we haven't had the hard, deep snow winters that are, that plays a big impact on the fox. They can't get out and hunt for food. I think that's, we haven't had a hard winter, so I think that's a big role in it too.
Yeah.
That's why our population seems like it's been really shooting up.
Yeah, I have three trail cameras out right now, and I've had 4 gray fox on them in the past 3 nights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, we actually have a trail camera on a piece of property we have that we hunt. Every night we're getting 2 gray fox on it, and we've been patterning a bobcat off it right now. It's been strolling through every week. We're just trying to pattern out, so when calling season comes in for it, we kind of know when it's going to be in the area, and we're going to go out and try killing it.
Yeah. We didn't touch a lot on coyotes, but do you see any correlation to your areas that are high on fox populations? Does that affect the coyote populations at all, or?
I've noticed where we have a lot of coyotes, it seems like if there would be fox in there, it doesn't seem like if it's gray fox, it doesn't affect the they seem to, gray fox can get away from them, climb trees, they can get away. But you put a red fox and a coyote in the same territory, coyote's going to win.
Yeah.
It's going to bump that red fox out, or it's going to kill it.
Yeah, I think we had 2 get ripped up
Yeah.
by coyotes this year.
Yeah, especially if they're in traps, those coyotes will tear them up.
Yeah.
Since like the what you'd call, I don't want to say the introduction of coyotes, but since in our areas the past 20 years, it's been getting we've been having a bigger population. Have you noticed that the red fox have moved closer to residential areas, like closer to houses and stuff like that? Like almost like the coyotes are pushing them closer, and they're becoming more comfortable.
That very well could be. I mean, I don't know if that's the case, but it does seem like a lot of people are, like you said.
Like I have them right here.
Yeah.
Like literally 50 yards behind my house every night. They're crossing.
I actually have a guy that I know up in Evansburg. He got a hold of me. He has red fox coming right into his backyard, and he lives right in Evansburg.
Yeah.
So they're, like you said, I think they do get pushed into towns where they feel safe. They'll live under people's sheds and that.
Yeah.
Like you said, they just feel safe in that area, and the coyotes are bold, but they're not, I don't think they're going to necessarily come in to like downtown Evansburg or something like that.
Just trying to think a couple more questions here, and something I think we missed earlier when we were talking about like setups and stuff like that. What is whenever you go and you start a calling sequence, like how do you start it, and how long do you do each setup for?
So that comes down to, depends on what I'm calling for as to the length I'm going to be in there.
Okay.
If I'm going in just for gray fox, 15 minutes max is my stand. I get in there, I call 15 minutes, I'm back out, I'm on to the next one.
Now, do you start off calling loud or
soft?
soft?
I always start off soft, because you never know when there's going to be a fox just inside that area. Now, gray fox, you can start off loud, because like I said, it comes back to their bold. You can start off as loud as that call can go, and they'll come charging right in. But I always start off low, because, you never know in our area whether you get calling a red fox, gray fox, or a coyote. So I always start off low, and then as my time, usually every 5 minutes, I'll bump, if I'm running electronic call, I'll bump it up like another 5 notches, 10 notches.
Okay.
And I'll run 15 minutes, like I said, for gray fox. If I'm hunting red fox, coyotes, half hour, 45 minutes is usually my typical stand length.
Okay.
And some people think that's long, but when you're sitting there in the middle of the night calling, it's not that long. It goes by quick.
Oh, I know.
It goes by real quick.
And same thing with like the mouth call. When you're using a mouth call, you're calling for 15 minutes. Yeah. Is it like 5 minutes and a little break?
Yeah, like if I'm like I said, I'm running a rabbit, I'll go like you said 5 minutes. I'll try starting off low, and then I'll give it a little break, and I'll go another 5 minutes, and I'll bump it up. And usually when I'm about ready to finish that stand, if I'm running your diaphragm, I get as loud and raspy as I can.
Okay.
That way that call is going out there far. And I've called for 10, 15 minutes before, never called anything in, and I get up to that half hour, 40-minute mark when I'm running that raspy, real high pitch.
Yeah.
And they come running right in.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, we're about at an hour.
That went by fast.
Anybody,
Yeah, it did.
I think we could have touched a lot. We probably could have.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we missed a lot of details.
I was kind of nervous doing this, but they went by quick, and
Well, I told you,
we could.
It's usually just fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could have hit a lot more stuff. That's for sure.
Let's to wrap it up. If somebody's looking to just get into some fox hunting, without giving away too many secrets, which I think we gave away probably plenty
I probably
tonight.
told out more than what I should have. So.
We might get a call from your hunting partner. But yeah, just roughly, what would your pointers be to someone new?
The main, very first one would be scout your area. They came back to we talked about in the podcast before earlier. They have to be in there for you to call them.
Okay.
You gotta get out, put the boot on the ground, and do scouting, looking for scat, looking for tracks, dens. They just, like I said, that's the key thing.
Okay. And I mean, with fox, most people could use their turkey gun.
Yeah.
Or what, 22 mag.
22 mag. Yeah. I mean, like you said,
Easy to find a fox gun. I would think.
Yeah. Any shotgun, put a turkey load in it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I run heavy shot. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. But you go to Walmart, get your turkey load, or even what you use for turkey.
Yeah.
3 inches, what I use. Put a good choke in there. Make sure your gun's patterned.
Yep.
You can go out and you can kill a fox. No problem.
And you're using the Fox Pro with the remote, I'm assuming?
Yes, the X24, I do believe is
I
the
think
model I have.
from mine's pretty old, and I think it was pretty affordable.
Yeah.
A couple $100 for a
They've
remote
gotten
one.
up there in price now, too. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, and there's tons of videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
I think that anybody could watch. But do you guys have anything else?
I actually do.
You guys want to run out and call one, don't you?
I could. Well, again, like we're new to this. We released a predator call this year.
Yeah.
Like I said, just again, we let Ty test it for a year before we put it out. You know, and he gave us some really good feedback with it and said he liked it, and that's why we put it out there. But we're actually very new to the predator game, and we're not an expert by any means, and I don't claim to be. And
I'm sitting here learning and taking it in just like everybody listening to this.
So I was gonna ask you, like with turkey calling a lot, you can overcall sometimes with a turkey. Can you do the same with a fox or a coyote?
I don't know if you really can. I've gone into an area. If you're talking like a certain area, can you overcall a certain area?
Yeah.
I've gone in. I've killed a fox.
Okay.
I know there's more fox in there. If it's a area that's having a problem, I'll go back in. I can go back in the very next day. I can call and I kill a fox.
Okay.
Or I can go in that area. I can call in. I don't kill that fox. I'll go back in. I'll play a different sound. Maybe I'll set up a little different, and I'll call that fox in again and kill it. So I don't think you can overcall an area for fox, but you can educate them.
So you're just a cold-hearted killer.
Some of my areas, yes, I am. It's some of my, yeah. It's last year. I know we're getting towards the end, but last year we had a gray fox come in off a hill, come in barking at us. We left with our tail between our legs. So I'm gonna come back, kill that fox next week. I went back in next week. I set up a little different, played a little different sound. I got to where that fox was barking, set up, played a different sound. That fox came down, barking the same trail it came down before. Didn't realize I was set up right where it stopped at last time I shot it.
Yeah.
So like I said, I don't think you can overcall a fox area.
It's crazy. I just feel like there's like so much correlation between turkey hunting and fox
Yeah.
hunting.
There
They
is,
really
yeah.
do. And it's just
Even with deer hunting, I think a lot of it, like you said, there's a lot of correlation between it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we just overthink everything.
Yeah.
Probably way too much.
No, I do that when I go into some of my stands,
Yeah.
especially if they're new ones. I try looking. I overthink everything,
Yeah.
and then my partner's like, "Let's just sit up this way. We'll try it." And
Yeah.
we learn if we don't call anything in, or if we call something in, we learn from it if we don't kill it. So
Yeah.
Yep, you always learn.
Yeah.
No matter what. Every time you're out
yeah,
in the woods, you're gonna learn.
yeah. Like I said, I enjoy watching fox come into the call more than I do shooting them half the time.
Yep.
Now you learn so much from them, the way they react, the way they come in, everything like that.
Yeah.
I've
I've noticed that with trapping. I have notebooks of just walking around in the snow and just looking at why do you walk over to that rock or whatever.
Yeah, that's I said.
There's so many little things
yeah.
like that, like you said, they'll probably, if they walk down that trail and go to that rock, they'll do that the next 20 years probably for whatever reason.
Yep.
That's always been interesting. But
Do you have any more questions, Nate?
No, I'm just taking it all in, and I just have so much respect. I just appreciate anybody that like spends as much time as you do, you know,
I appreciate that.
at your craft, and it's just always very cool to me to meet somebody like you, and I really respect it. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm all for coming back and later on.
Yeah,
we have a lot of stuff we didn't touch.
We have a lot
so.
more to cover. And
Yeah, I mean that was just the basics
Yeah.
of the predator hunting, and you know we can maybe as we get better, maybe we can do like a more bring Ty back for like a more like intermediate class and like an expert class.
You're not giving yourself enough credit. First time I came up here and they started showing me this predator call, and next thing you know, we're going out tomorrow, and then I get a picture of a coyote. I'm like, what do you mean you're new to this?
I think I was in Baltimore when Brian was texting me.
Yeah.
He was asking me questions. I was answering through text, and then I get a picture from Brian. There's a coyote. I'm like, he made it look too easy.
I mean, I can't say I'm a diehard predator hunter, but for a long time I'd go a handful of times a year, and I just shot my first coyote this year.
Yeah.
So,
well, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then.
well, wait, am I the blind squirrel or you?
Both.
I'm blind and deaf.
I just found my my nut the second time I was ever in the woods.
I know where we're going with that one. I think that's a good way to end this one. All right, guys. Well, that was a good hour talk, and I think we're gonna maybe get out and go try to shoot something.
That'd be cool.
Normally we're doing these podcasts during the day, but we're cutting into some hunting time now.
The night is young. It's just starting.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
We just had a coffee. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. You're not gonna be able to sleep.
Yeah, my bladder's feeling it too.
All right. Well, thank everybody for listening to another episode here, and be sure to check us out on all of our social medias at Kluk Custom Calls, our website, klukcustomcalls.com. And remember, you can use code POD10 for 10% off the Predator call and everything else on the website.
Absolutely.
So check it out and stay tuned for the next one.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, Ty.
Thank you, guys.